Commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking your first day in office, adding the United States to the list of countries who have banned this devastating practice?
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So, yes, and starting with what we can do on day one around public lands, right? And then there has to be legislation. But yes, and this is something I've taken on in California. I have a history of working on this issue. And to your point, we have to just acknowledge that the residual impact of fracking is enormous in terms of the impact on the health and safety of communities. Yeah, so thank you.
So would you ban offshore drilling?
Yes, and I've, again, worked on that.
When you were in Congress, you supported the Green New Deal. And in 2019, you said, quote, "There is no question I'm in favor of banning fracking." Fracking, as you know, is a pretty big issue, particularly in your must-win state of Pennsylvania.
Sure.
Do you still want to ban fracking?
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020, that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
In 2019, I believe, at a town hall, you said you were asked, would you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking on your first day in office? And you said, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So yes. So it changed in that campaign?
In 2020, I made very clear where I stand. We are in 2024, and I've not changed that position, nor will I going forward. I kept my word, and I will keep my word.
What made you change that position at the time?
Well, let's be clear. My values have not changed. I believe it is very important that we take seriously what we must do to guard against what is a clear crisis in terms of the climate. And to do that, we can do what we have accomplished thus far. The Inflation Reduction Act, what we have done to invest, by my calculation, over probably $1 trillion over the next 10 years, investing in a clean energy economy. What we've already done, creating over 300,000 new clean energy jobs. That tells me, from my experience as vice president, we can do it without banning fracking. In fact, Dana, I cast the tie-breaking vote that actually increased leases for fracking as vice president. So I'm very clear about where I stand.
And was there some policy or scientific data that you saw that you said, oh, okay, I get it now?
What I have seen is that we can grow and we can increase a thriving clean energy economy without banning fracking.
Okay.
I kept my word, and I will keep my word. Let's be clear, my values have not changed.
Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. What you just seen there was a 3-minute video that was put out by Memeology 101 about how Kamala Harris has changed her tune, okay, like the weather changes, okay, at the drop of a hat, like in Arkansas, okay. And if anybody is from Arkansas, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's an old saying in Arkansas about the weather: give it 5 minutes, it'll change. Okay, I'm going to leave a link in the description to Memeology 101 so you guys can go on his channel and check out his content in this video. But the reason why I'm showing this and I'm putting this video together is because there's a couple of things that I want to point out. One of them is about Kamala Harris and Tulsi Gabbard, and another one is about Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Okay, it seems that when it comes to, of course, when it comes to elections, politicians, they will say and do things in order to get the votes, okay? But the one thing that the Democrats never change on, and I've been saying it from the beginning, is that they contradict themselves and they eat themselves, okay? And before I continue, just a quick little side note. The whole term that I use when I say the Democrats eat themselves, not trying to brag or anything like that, but when I started my channel, I've been using that term like all the time, okay? And I've been noticing, which makes me wonder, because I haven't heard anybody else use it, and now all of a sudden I'm beginning to hear some content creators use that term, the Democrats eat themselves. So I'm wondering if they're watching my content and they're using that term, because I've never heard anybody else really say it. Okay, I started saying it, and I watch a lot of content, especially when it comes to like anybody talking about the Democrats. And I just found yesterday a couple of videos, and I'm like, I hear them say it, some content creators, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's my line, you know. I've been saying that for the longest time, but I'm not upset. Don't get me wrong. I just hope that if it is that anybody's using my line, that they, you know, throw me a little props or send, you know, some of their subs my way. Okay, I mean, let's be honest here. But just wanted to throw that in. But anyway, yeah, that's the way I feel. I feel that the Democrats eat themselves and they contradict themselves a lot. And as you can see, you've seen Kamala Harris in the beginning of the video. It was 2019. She talked about, yes, she's going to put a stop to fracking and all that other, you know, nonsense. And then she had this video that came out a couple of days ago that she couldn't do alone. She had to do it with Tampon Tim. Okay, why? I don't know. I mean, it was very strange, not to mention that supposedly CNN edited a lot of the video, so the whole interview only came out to be 18 minutes long. I have no idea what that's all about, and in all honesty, I can't see CNN putting out the reason why. I mean, they're going to say something, but I mean, I just find it strange. A lot of people are talking about it. Me, in all honesty, I think it's because that's the only energy the Democrats have, is 18 minutes long, to tell you the truth. And in all reality, can anybody really sit there and listen to Kamala Harris for over an hour? I don't think so. Okay, so it probably was a favor to the American people that the interview was only 18 minutes long. But before I continue with the reason why I'm putting all this video together, I just want to thank all my new subscribers and all my subscribers here on YouTube and on Rumble. So don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around, give it a thumbs up. Keep watching my content. The hours are going up, and the videos are being pushed out, which is great. But there is something else I want to show you guys a little. Actually, at the end of the video, I want to show you guys something real quick. Just trying to share some transparency with you guys as usual, because you know you guys are the ones that help this channel keep moving forward. Okay. If you want to help support the channel, I'll leave a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. And also, I'm leaving links if you can help my friend Josie and Loza Alexander with their Give, Send, Go, and GoFundMe campaign. There's links in the description. Even if you guys can just leave them, like I said, words of encouragement and/or prayers, that would be great. So, with all that being said, the reason why I'm putting all this together is because one of my subscribers left a comment on one of the videos that I put out with a couple of questions about Tulsi Gabbard. Okay, and I'm not trying to knock my subscriber, nothing like that, but I'm glad that it was brought to my attention because it made me go look for more information. Okay, so I thank you for bringing this up to me, and this is what I like. I like the engagement that people are bringing things up, and it makes me want to go and figure and find out more information. Okay, because I've said it before, I'm not going to support anybody. Okay, not that I'm going to be voting for Tulsi Gabbard or anything like that. I just think that, you know, her endorsing Trump and her leaving the Democrat Party was actually a good thing. Why she still considers herself, well, not anymore, not a Democrat, but an independent, to listen to her policies when she was a Democrat, it was like, why are you even a Democrat? She doesn't think like a Democrat, which to this day I can't understand, but it is what it is. Who knows? But so I started looking around, and I did find I found some footage, and as a matter of fact, I sent the link yesterday to my subscribers so like that they can check it out, and I asked them to please, you know, let me know what their thoughts are on the link. But if you look at the thumbnail and the title to the video, it says that the Democrats flip-flop while Trump and Tulsi stay the course. Okay, so even though Tulsi Gabbard is not going to be Donald Trump's vice president or anything like that, it's just that I want people to see the difference of when the mainstream media and people on the left, they keep up with a lie, okay, and that lie metastasizes so bad that the left keeps pushing it, that then it becomes beyond rhetoric, it becomes hate. And that's what a lot of people on the left go with. They go with a lie, it fills them with hate, and they don't even do their own research to find out exactly what was said. And that happens a lot with Donald Trump. Any little thing that Donald Trump says, the left blows it out of proportion, the mainstream media blows it out of proportion, and by then the damage is done. After the truth is shown, the damage is done. You can show them the proof right to their faces, they don't want to hear it anymore. Okay? They don't. And I've noticed a lot of left-leaning content creators, all right, they keep going with this narrative that it turns to hate. And I've said it once, I'll say it again. If you look at the comments that are left by their subscribers, they are nothing but full of hate, okay? Misinformation, hate, and it's like, you know, it makes you wonder, why is it that when somebody's putting out the truth, they get vilified and or censored, but then you have people putting out misinformation and spinning it in a way that makes people want to hate someone on the other side, and they get to keep their comments and their content and stuff like that up, okay? And this goes all across social media, and I think it's horrible. As a matter of fact, Mark Zuckerberg admitted that he was doing the bidding on Facebook for the Democrat Party, and now all of a sudden, he's had a change of heart, and he said that he's not going to do it anymore because he knew that back then it was wrong, and he's seen exactly the way everything went, and he wants no part of it anymore. We'll see what happens with that. Take it, in my opinion, I'll take everything he says with a grain of salt. But who knows? Maybe God touched his heart. I don't know. Okay? But you've seen what Kamala Harris said. Okay? She flip-flopped about her stance on fracking and whatever the case is. She keeps trying to skirt away from her responsibilities at the border. There is chaos going on in Colorado with illegal migrant gang members and criminals, and it's crickets from Biden and Harris and that whole regime. Okay, so you've seen the video, you've seen the way Kamala Harris flip-flop. Okay, the question that was brought up from my subscriber was that supposedly Tulsi Gabbard had asked to join the W.E.F, the World Economic Forum. So, I mean, everybody knows what that's all about. So I told my subscriber I was going to check into it, and get back to them, which I did. I was looking into it last night, just as I was doing research, and I came across a video, okay, that I've never seen before. It just, it was some video online. I'm looking at all different videos trying to find out, did she ask, did she say it, whatever the case is, what's going on, and I finally came across the video. Now, I'm going to take this video as 100% proof to me and truth that no, she did not ask to be part of the W.E.F. Okay? What happened was that as the rumor went on that Trump came out and called American soldiers that died losers and suckers, that was a rumor that metastasized by the left. The same thing goes with Tulsi Gabbard. And the reason why I say that this video, this interview that was given to her, I take it as truth, is because the person that's interviewing her, I do not follow, I don't like, I don't despise or hate. I don't care for this person's content. Okay? But if this person is interviewing her and gets the truth out of her, I'm going to take it as, it being the truth, because in my opinion, this person probably could have spun it around. Okay? But they didn't. So without further ado, I'm going to show you guys the video so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Here we go. If anybody knows Dr. Drew, you know exactly who he is. If you don't, I guess, look his stuff up. I'm not a big fan of Dr. Drew. Okay? Never have been. Like I said, I don't dislike him or anything like that. I don't hate him. I'm just not a big fan. Okay? So as me doing my research to find out what was it, if it's true that Tulsi Gabbard said she wanted to join the W.E.F., I came across this online last night, and it's like a 7-minute interview that he gives her. Okay, it says Tulsi Gabbard on W.E.F. Young Global Leaders, the truth about her World Economic Forum ties, ask Dr. Drew. And I played it. And I was like, well, you know what? This answers my question, and I hope it answers questions to anybody else that think that Tulsi Gabbard wants to be part of that demonic forum, in my opinion. So listen to what she has to say, and I'll put my words into it, my thoughts into it, I should say. Here we go.
Something about the World Economic Forum. Did you interview somebody recently or say something about that recently?
Yeah, no, it's something that I've been seeing pop up a little bit on social media. People who, so basically, what happened was early, I don't know, maybe in the first or second year that I served in Congress, I found out that my picture and name had been placed on the World Economic Forum's website under this category they have listed as Young Global Leaders. And I looked at it and I was like, okay, well, they have different people of different political parties and from around the world that are on this website. I was never asked to join, and I was never informed by them that they had put my name and picture on their website. And I honestly didn't know that much about it. But people have said, oh, well, what did you learn by graduating from Klaus Schwab's Young Global Leaders Academy or all this stuff? And it's just, it's unfortunate that there's a lot of, I don't know, false assumptions being made, I guess.
Okay, now quickly, I'm going to jump into it. Now you heard what she said. As soon as they came out and said they labeled her wanting to be part of it, they started making jokes about it and making insinuations, saying that, oh, how was it learning from Klaus Schwab? There goes how they start pushing a narrative. They start the lie and they push the narrative. Now, I'm going to keep playing it, but I want to point something out right quick. The reason why my thumbnail says that Trump and Tulsi stay the course is because if you look at the beginning of the video with Kamala Harris, she said in 2019 that she was going to put an end to fracking. The new videos in 2024, a couple of days ago, the reporter Dana, or as she says, Donna, whatever, it's Dana, says that, but in 2020, during the presidential election debates, she basically says something else, so she basically flip-flopped. If anybody remembers, Tulsi Gabbard was on that stage, I believe, when it was Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Tulsi Gabbard. And Tulsi Gabbard actually kicked both their asses the way she is. Okay? Now, if you look at the way Kamala Harris keeps flip-flopping on her words year after year from 2019 to 2020, 2024, this video, okay, now I'm gonna see if I'm just gonna mute it so I can unpause it and you can see this video was November 25th of 2022. You'll see it up there. The mouse is messing me up. Okay, so I'm just gonna stop it and go back so that you guys, I don't want to lose any time. So Tulsi Gabbard basically in 2020 stayed the course with how she felt and the policies that she wanted to implement. She got vilified. In 2022, she stayed the course, you know, standing her guns, how she feels, what she said, what she didn't say, how rumors go around, and it starts to stain her. And here we are in 2024, and she's still staying the damn course, the same thing of how she feels. Not saying something that flip-flops the way Kamala Harris has and still does. Okay? And this is a tactic by the left that even Nancy Pelosi, I believe, admitted to how they do things. You have to start the smear campaign and you got to stick with it. Even if it's a fucking lie, you got to stay with it. And that's wrong. And that's why so many people on the left and so many leftist content creators, they spew they just spew lie after lie after lie, and they keep up with the lie, and it pisses people off, and that anger turns into hate, and then that hate turns into physical actions, and then what winds up happening? People nearly get assassinated. okay? And not only do people nearly get assassinated, people have been beat up and or killed by people on the left because of the fucking lies. The left and the media, they go with something, they keep doing it, and they won't deny that it's a lie. They just stay with it. Okay? And I'm glad I found this, and like I said, I'm not upset with my subscriber. I'm glad that they put me onto it, because we need to do research and find out who is it that we support, what exactly are their stands, and there's still more that I'm still trying to find about Tulsi Gabbard and what happened in Hawaii. If she's doing any kinds of investigations, like I said in my other video about the missing children and the missing adults, okay? Because you know what? If the left cannot hold their political officials' feet to the fire, us as Republicans and conservatives, we need to hold political officials to their feet to the fire. Even if it really messes us up to find out the truth, we need to not walk that thin line, okay? Because that's what they do on the left. And look at the chaos that it's bringing, that they're literally, they're arguing with each other, they're fighting each other, they're protesting against each other, they're eating themselves. Okay? Why? Because of the lies, the contradictions, and all the bullshit. But let me go back to this so like that we can listen to what she has to say. It's a great conversation. It's only about 10 minutes, but it's a good conversation. It's going to be a little lengthy of a video, not as long as before, but because there's still more I need to show, especially between Biden and Trump. But let's continue.
I was never asked to join, and I was never informed by them that they had put my name and picture on their website, and I honestly didn't know that much about it. But people have said, oh, well, what did you learn by graduating from Klaus Schwab's Young Global Leaders Academy or all this stuff? And it's just, it's unfortunate that there's a lot of, I don't know, false assumptions being made, I guess. It's an organization, I've never gone to any of their shenanigans. That's a good word. I've never gone to any of their events. I didn't graduate from any, I've literally not had anything to do with the World Economic Forum. And the reason why people are concerned about this is actually very important. And I'm glad to just make clear that there is no connection between me and the World Economic Forum. You know, the World Economic Forum is essentially pushing this, and Klaus Schwab and Glenn Beck wrote a whole book about this for those who want more information. But basically, they're pushing this super globalist agenda where you have corporate powers of like the most wealthy of the wealthy attempting to create whatever they want to call it, some new world order, set the rules for the world that supersede and undermine the sovereignty of countries, undermining our democracy, essentially. And that's really what is so dangerous. And their intent, of course, they claim to know what is best for us more than we know ourselves. And why wouldn't they, these multi-billionaires? But the danger of it is exactly that they are trying to set the rules for the world and build some kind of utopian future in their own mind, but undermining our voices and our sovereignty as a country. I think that's the best way I can put it in a nutshell. So I have been very outspoken about a lot of these different issues over the years. So for anyone who questions what my record is, look at my record and you'll see how I have been talking about and warning against the very things that these people are pushing.
Okay,
Saying,
I'm going to stop you here for a second, okay? And that's the way. These are the kind of politicians that we need, okay? And it really pisses me off, and we're hearing about it a lot and a lot more, and the Democrats keep pushing it. Donald Trump has been speaking out against this so-called Project 2025, okay? He said it so many times that he has nothing to do with it. He's not a part of it. He looked through it. There's a lot of it he doesn't like, okay? Just like the World Economic Forum has their agenda, Project 25, the founders of it have their agenda also. Trump is not on board with it because it's not something that he says that he can stand behind. But the left, they keep pushing it into people, and that's all you hear along mainstream media. Donald Trump and Project 2025. If he becomes president, he's going to push Project 2025, and they keep on and on and on and on. And all these freaking content creators have so many subscribers along so many different platforms, and they keep pushing it and pushing it. No matter how many times Donald Trump says that he has nothing to do with it, he wants nothing to do with it, they keep pushing it, and they keep lying because they keep saying, oh, he's lying, he's still going to do it. How the fuck do you know what's in his head? Okay? Because by the way you're explaining it, by the way you keep repeating it, it shows what's in your head. And that is to sow division and chaos. Okay? How many times does a person have to say that they're innocent before you believe them? But when it comes to people on the left, you're guilty, and then you got to spend the rest of your life trying to prove that you're innocent. But with them, they're caught red-handed guilty, and all they got to do is apologize once. Okay? And I'll show you what I mean after we finish watching this. Okay? But it just burns my ass that the smear campaign that the Democrats do, okay, and they keep up with it. And this is why I get upset with a lot of the Republicans. Because yes, they push back, but they don't freaking push back hard enough. Okay? Because if somebody's gonna accuse me, and I gotta sit at a round table, and we have to act all cordial and show decorum, I don't give a flying rat's ass who it is. You accuse me of something, and you nonchalantly keep saying it during the course of us having a conversation, and I tell you I never said that, and you come out and say, yeah, you know you said it, there's going to be some shit that's going to go down. Trust me. Okay? Because when somebody's innocent, that's what you should be fighting for. Not fighting to push a damn lie to make it seem like it's real, just to destroy somebody's life because you have too much fucking hate in your heart. Okay? But let's continue.
That, if I were ever, and I haven't been, but if I were invited to go to Davos is their big forum that they put on, I think it's every year. If I were invited to go speak there, I would go and speak the same kind of truth to them as I speak to anyone else, because I think it's important that no matter that we not just live within our own echo chambers, but we actually go out and vigorously engage in this marketplace of ideas that we're talking about here.
Yeah, I have no doubt that you would do so. There's another part of this. Again, this is on my mind now because of just having returned from Europe, which is this thing that's called populism and nationalism. And I delight in Prime Minister Maloney's rhetoric. I mean, I may not agree with all her politics, but I delight in her rhetoric. I just think isn't that her name, Maloney?
For Italy.
I saw a lot of that in Europe when I was there, particularly where she held up a French something, and she goes, 50% of this comes from kids pulling golds out of a mine, and so instead of bringing those kids to Western Europe, why don't we allow those countries to keep their money so they can thrive, on their own? I thought, well, it makes perfect sense to me. I dig what she's saying. Yeah. So anyway, but it made me think about other things I was seeing over there, which was I'm hearing rumbles of Scotland again trying to push independence, and being in Spain and watching people celebrate their culture and their art and their architecture. That there is a value that humans derive that is not purely negative. And we think about nationalism, and I think sometimes we think about World War II as sort of the final pathway of nationalism, but it doesn't have to be like that. And there's a certain delight that humans have, just the way the Native Americans and the indigenous people still stay connected to their culture and their identity as such. That everybody, humans, I don't know how stronger words than like or enjoy, but it's important to us to have that connection to a culture and a heritage and a community and maybe a people even as part of that. the fact that the World Economic Forum wants to destroy that or devalue it or sort of consider it somehow dangerous or problematic, I think there'll be a massive pushback against that. And I think that's kind of underway.
Yeah.
At least that was my
Yeah.
sense in Western Europe. And it also made me think about us here and how we are so negative on our stuff. We are just so, there's like a hatred for, that you can feel, or negativity at least, that you can feel here that you just don't see over there. There was a relief not to have that. But to acknowledge and try to come to terms with, as I said, the horrible history that Spain perpetrated on an entire continent and that Portugal created with the slave trade. I mean, these were real historical things that
Exactly. And I want to jump into this real quick, what he said about Portugal with the slave trade. Okay. You have you have the left here in America talking about white systemic racism. Okay. And saying that black people, that American black people still have it hard. They keep trying to push this narrative. They keep making it seem like it was America that implemented all the slave trade and all that. If the left really wanted to talk about history and stop pushing out that fucking bullshit about Juneteenth, which is a crock of shit, why don't they go and do the history about Portugal? Because Portugal and Brazil, okay, actually took in the most African slaves during that whole period. Okay? We're talking millions, as opposed to the slaves that were brought from Africa to America. Okay? But the left won't talk about that. As a matter of fact, Portugal is so screwed up, okay, that Portugal supposedly signed over, basically they signed over their government to the WHO, to the World Health Organization, or something to that effect. So next time there's some sort of pandemic or some shit like that, the people of Portugal are asked out. They have no say-so because their government sold them out. Nobody believe me? Look it up. It's something that's not being talked about online as much. It came out about a week ago. That is just like, why would Portugal go and give up their sovereignty to one of these organizations that has nothing to do with their country? They're globalist organizations. But they go, but that's the way it works in the Western world. They go and they rile up the masses to make people believe one thing without giving them the whole truth of history. And next thing you know, those leaders are the same ones that wind up selling you out. And it's the leaders in America that are selling out, okay, the black community with all this hate-filled rhetoric and letting them believe something that's not true instead of telling them the truth in the beginning. Well, it was actually this country and that country and this country. No, let's just say it was all America, and let's just try to destroy America from within. And that is not looking out for the best interest of your people. Okay? Like, nobody will dare talk about Kamala Harris's stance on how she truly is. Okay, the thing about it is, yeah, she's with the Democrat Party, but she was actually raised, her mom was a Marxist. Okay, I said it once and I'll say it again, and I still have to find that video. Her uncle came out and said that her mom and Kamala studied socialism. Okay? He said it straight out. That was their thing. That is basically, I guess that's still her thing. But nobody will talk about it on the left, and the right, they'll talk about it, but they won't really push the issue. Why? Because when it came to Obama's birth certificate, okay, that had to be killed. But let's make up and that was truth, but let's make up all these lies about Trump and people on the right, and let's make everybody else sway away, okay? So like that they can believe what we say, because why? They are part of that globalist regime with the WHO, the W.E.F, Klaus Schwab, all these people. And then they'll go and, like I said, they'll go and smear people and keep up with the lie and the lie and the lie. And it's like, this is why, like you heard what this man said when he went to Italy, to Spain, it was so much more calm than America, because there's so much hate going on, because that hate is perpetrated by the left. Okay? They're the ones perpetrating all this hate and division. But let's continue.
These cultures were responsible for it, need to be talked about honestly, but condemning an entire culture and entire people in the present moment because of that history, I'm uncomfortable with that.
As you should be, because, who are we as people if we are not willing or able to learn from the mistakes of our past? I mean, just even in our own singular lifetimes, I think that's what we hope, right? Is that every day as we move forward in life, that we continue to learn and we continue to grow from those mistakes of the past, importantly, so we don't continue making them again. And the same goes for us in the history of this country, that we do acknowledge and recognize and understand the sins of this country's past, so that we make sure that we don't repeat those same tragedies again. And that's really where, I'm proud to wear the uniform of this country. I'm proud to, salute the flag. I'm proud and get goosebumps, when I hear and sing the Star Spangled Banner, because to me, that's what that represents. It represents that freedom for us as a society, as people in this country who are proud of the potential and the foundational.
Now you can see people are leaving comments. This one says, that's what we have been waiting for, Tulsi. Thank you for the answer, and thank you, Dr. Drew, for asking this most important question. And this was back, like I said, in 2022, November 25th of 2022. Okay? But yet, since she doesn't align with the Democratic Party and their evil, wicked agenda, they vilified her, that she decided, I'm not going to be a Democrat, I'm going to go independent. Okay? As a matter of fact, there are people now that are calling the fact that Robert F. Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard have both endorsed Trump. They're calling it the Avengers. They're saying that Trump is gathering his Avenger squad. Look at the people that are endorsing Trump now. Okay? When you listen to the way they talk, especially in the past, I will say this. I'm not a Robert F. Kennedy fan either. But I've done some research on him. He has stayed consistent with what he wants to do to make America better when it comes to the health industry. He has stayed consistent. Tulsi Gabbard has stayed consistent in her ways. Okay? Just those two people right there. And look at the way they're being vilified by the left. And you would think people on the left would look at this and be like, wait a minute. Like, why didn't I see this? But no, they just don't care. They don't want the truth. They want to keep going on with all the lies and all the hate and all the division. And it's sad because they're calling themselves true patriotic Americans, and that we're all the Nazis and the fascists and all this shit. But yet, they're out there helping Palestine protesters to free Palestine, okay? When the leader of Palestine back in the 40s, okay, sat down, and it's on video that I found it, I'm going to show it when I get everything together, shaking hands and having a meeting with fucking Adolf Hitler. Okay, and the only people that aligned themselves with Hitler, okay, were fascists, Mussolini and everybody else that wanted to get rid of the Jews and everybody else around the world. And Palestine was one of them, their leader, that wanted to get rid of the Jews. But they won't talk about that. Okay? They won't talk about that. And if you bring it up to them, you show them the videos, you show them everything, the transcripts, they'll be like, oh no, that was something different, you don't know what you're talking about. Because they want to stay, that ignorance is, with the left, has gone beyond bliss. Their ignorance is way beyond bliss. But let's continue.
Values and principles that make this country unique. And it is rooted in those God-given rights and freedoms that are enshrined in the Constitution. And it's up to us. It's up to us as individuals and as Americans to decide what kind of future we want to see.
Okay, let me stop real quick. Here's another comment that somebody left. It says, she talked about the W.E.F. multiple times, denounced and explained. People keep asking her to explain it. She does. Then they say she's lying. Sound familiar? They keep bringing it up to Trump about the comment that he made about good people being on both sides during that freaking Charlottesville protest with those white supremacists. He denounced them. He said it's on video. He wants nothing to do with the KKK, white supremacists, none of that. He denounces it. He says racism is bad. There's no room for it. He will not condone it or support it. And they still say that he's fucking lying. Okay? But yet, somebody on the left, okay, says something, they either apologize once and it's forgiven, or no, they never said it. No, that was all edited. Like now they're trying to say that a lot of the stuff that has been shown, that's a video being edited by people on the right to make Joe Biden look bad. It's like, look, you don't have to edit anything to make Joe Biden look bad. He fucking makes himself look bad. But let's continue.
And so, again, when I hear people who are like, oh my gosh, look at all those American flags. And you hear this from people on television sometimes, some of these political pundits or commenters or whatever it is, that like, oh gosh, if you go to the South, they have so many American flags, and talk about it in a really derogatory manner. It makes me sad. It makes me sad because they are not recognizing how special.
This is the way I see it. You hate the American flag,
how special
get out the country.
This country really is.
Go find a flag that suits
and that specialness comes from those principles that are rooted in our Constitution. You mentioned a couple of things I want to comment on here. You talk about populism. And I remember I had a meeting with somebody in my office in Congress one day where they were shaking their heads and like so concerned about, well, what do we do about the rise of populism in America and around the world? This is just, this is of a great concern. And I said, why?
Yeah.
Why is this of great concern? Because the people are rising up and saying, hey, you know what? We're sick and tired of you guys living in your ivory towers, you politicians, you elite, you CEOs of multinational corporations, making decisions that benefit yourselves but come at the cost of the lives of everyday people, everyday Americans and people around the world. And that's really what's at the heart of it. And so when you look at the people who are wringing their hands over, like, what do we do about the rise of populism? They are, the equivalents of the elite that the first, people who came and fled, England and other countries in Europe came to this country to escape from. And that's
right.
it again. It's just so telling. Like, you look at who's concerned about populism. They're the people who believe that we the people exist to serve the well-being and the thriving of these multinational corporations.
Exactly.
Rather than we the people existing and living, just trying to live our lives. And that the world should not revolve, the policies should not revolve around what is best for corporations, but they really believe what's best for corporations is actually best for the people. When
wow,
not
it's
the case.
disgusting.
Let me.
Now I'm going to end it right there. I mean, there's not much more. It's only about a minute left, but so you heard her own words, how she feels. This was 2 years ago, nearly 2 years ago. Before that, she was on the debate stage with Biden and Harris. Like I said, she whooped both their asses. Right then and there is when the left came out and said, we cannot have this Democrat being part of our agenda because she's going to go against everything. We can't have her represent us because she goes against everything that we stand for, which is what? The corruption, the big corporations, the money, open borders, keeping people down. I mean, I don't make this up. I mean, you guys see, everybody out there sees what's going on. People are in an uproar because they want American populism to come back, because look at what the Democrats have done and what they still are doing. Okay? I mean, there was one content creator I was watching this morning. Like I said, I do this to myself where I get so upset I just want to punch my laptop, but I know I can't. But this one content creator is over here saying, okay, that everybody on the right, I mean, he went off on a tangent. How YouTube has not shut his channel down, I have no idea. But it is what it is. I'm gonna digress on that. but over here saying that everybody's got their panties in a bunch, for lack of a better term. I won't use all the words he said because they were just freaking disgusting. That why doesn't Kamala Harris do the things she's doing now? So right away he's going to defend her because she's the vice president. It's like, yeah, she's the vice president, but then why can't Joe do it? And then he's saying why Joe can't do it. Why Biden can't do the things that Trump did. I mean, just making up lies, okay, knowing very well that if Biden is capable of keeping that fucking border open, he's just as capable of shutting it down. But that's what they do. You have these leftist people on social media, on the news, in government, that all they do is lie and spin everything around and making it seem like, wait a minute, you're the ones that are crazy, not us. It's like, no, we're not crazy. You're the ones that want all this chaos to happen. And all you do is come up with excuse after excuse how you can't stop it. But now all of a sudden an election's coming and you're saying that on day one we're going to do this. That's the same shit that Biden said on day one. And yeah, he kept up to his crooked agenda, and this is why we're in the mess we're in now. But now Kamala's like, and day one, I'm going to reverse all that. Reverse it all what? To what Trump did? I mean, first you said that you can't do it, but on day one you're going to be able to do it. Then you say that what Trump did was wrong, it was illegal, but you're saying on day one you're going to go and do the same thing. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. So they just go with the smear campaign, smear the shit out of you. Okay, then when it comes to if they want it to benefit them, okay, they contradict themselves. They eat themselves. They're a bunch of two-faced snakes. Okay? But that's enough with this. I'm going to show you the next segment and try to get right through it as quick as I can for lack of time. Like I said, I apologize. I know a lot of my videos are long, but, you know, sometimes you can't do these things in 15 minutes, man. You know, I mean, I like to put out the long content so people can see a lot of it. I'm not saying the content creators, the really good ones that really know how to edit, that they're putting out misinformation. No, I'm not saying that. Me, I'm more of what you call a conversationalist. If we're going to sit down and talk, we're going to sit down and talk. And that's how I feel when I make my videos to put out there for you guys. Like I'm sitting here and we're talking, and I try to get out as much as I can. You know, we can have a 15-minute conversation, or we can talk for a couple of hours. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I like to do it. And I know people keep emailing me, telling me that I should do live streams. I have one person said that I should look into doing having like a weekly podcast. I mean, there's a lot. But I mean, I got to deal with one thing at a time right now, which is, you know, making content and just putting the awareness out there and as much truth as I can. But let's get to the next video, and I'm going to show you now the difference between Biden and Trump, and how Trump, just like Tulsi, stays the course. Okay, so you all heard the rumor, and it keeps going around about that Trump came out and made a comment saying that fallen American soldiers are what he says, suckers and losers. Okay, this is Joe Biden, okay, just regurgitating this. Now, mind you, it wasn't on audio, it wasn't on video, it's something that was said, and it just metastasized, and they keep going with it, and it goes on and on up until a couple of days ago. They keep bringing it up, the mainstream media, when Trump went to Arlington National Cemetery, I believe it was, to lay the wreath down, okay, for the 13 American soldiers that got killed in Afghanistan, because this fool pulled out all the troops, and yet him and Kamala didn't even make it down to fucking do their part, since the debacle was on their watch, okay? Trump goes down there, okay? He's asked to go lay the wreath, okay? And all the mainstream media could do is come out and badmouth him and bring up the lie about that when he said that soldiers are suckers and losers. Listen to what Joe Biden's got to say.
When the defeated former president refused to pay respects in an American cemetery near Paris, referring to the American servicemen buried there, and I've been to the cemetery, as suckers and losers. Quotes. I'm not making this up. I know we all try not to remember it. But that's what he said. He called servicemen suckers and losers.
Okay, He's a moron. That's all he's going to keep repeating. But you heard what he said. I'm not making this up, right? Now, again, I had to look up some information and find out, did Trump say that? Did he say it as a joke? Did he say it in passing? What exactly happened? Because I've heard everybody talking about it, but it's like, okay, when did he say it? Who did he say it in front of? How did it go about? Whatever. And all you keep saying is, all we know is that he said it. And you just heard Joe Biden say, I'm not making this up. No, I get it. You're not making it up. I mean, but somebody did make it up. Okay? The thing is that he's going along with it and pushing the narrative. Okay? And I'll show you how. Here we go. So I'm looking online trying to find out. And I go on. And one of the first things that comes out, okay, was an article by Snopes. Now, people on the right and the left, they leave it up to this company to do fact-checking and find out what's going on. Okay? What was said, who said what, if it's true or not, and it's supposed to be like one of the best resources when it comes to finding out truth. Now, this was published on October 4th, 2023. It says, did Trump call fallen soldiers suckers and losers? Okay? Now it says, in early October 2023, U.S. President Joe Biden and a former member of Donald Trump's presidential administration resurrected a years-old accusation against Trump that allegedly revealed his true opinion of U.S. military troops. According to the claim, Trump once called fallen soldiers suckers and losers while talking to people in his inner circle. Okay? Trump and his allies have denied the accusations since it first emerged in 2020, shortly before the election between Trump and Biden, whether performative or authentic. Trump's apparent support for soldiers in the U.S. military, both active and veteran members, has been part of his presidential campaigns. Now it says how the accusation, now this, they just explain a little more, okay? But it says how the accusations emerged. Calling anonymous officials from the administration, the 2020 article by the Atlantic titled Trump Americans Who Died in War Are Losers and Suckers unpacked Trump's trip to Paris in 2018 when he allegedly did not want to visit a cemetery of American war dead. The visit was canceled. Okay, now look at why they say that the visit was canceled. Now this is going by people that are just saying something with nobody else there to verify it. Okay, Trump did not want to visit the Aisne, I guess they say that, Marine American Cemetery, which is home to the graves of Americans who fought and died in World War I, for two reasons. According to the Atlantic, he feared the rain would dishevel his hair, okay, and because he did not believe it important to honor American war dead. According to 4 people with first-hand knowledge of the discussion that day, okay, it says the Atlantic continue. Emphasis hours, whatever, I don't know what that, whatever. Okay. Trump rejected the idea of the visit because he feared his hair would become disheveled in the rain and because he did not believe it important to honor American war dead. According to 4 people with first-hand knowledge of the discussion that day, in a conversation with senior staff members on the morning of the scheduled visit, Trump said, "Why should I go to the cemetery? It's filled with losers," in a separate conversations on the same trip. Trump referred to the more than 1,800 Marines who lost their lives at Bellawood as suckers for getting killed. Shortly after the publication of the Atlantic report, one unnamed, now this is when it starts to, like, you got to start thinking about this. Shortly after the publication of the Atlantic report, one unnamed senior official with the U.S. Department of Defense and one senior U.S. Marine Corps officer confirmed the 2018 cemetery remarks from the above report in interviews with the Associated Press. Right away when it says unnamed, why don't you put out the name? If it's so fucking true, put out the name. Okay? It's obvious if you're going to put it out, you're upset with the man, so just stand your ground. Stand by your fucking convictions. Okay? But this is the way the smear campaign starts. It all starts with the unnamed. Okay. According to AP, the official had first-hand knowledge of Trump's remarks, and the officer had been told about them. So now you got somebody unnamed telling somebody else, another officer, no name is being dropped, but this is what Trump said. Okay? Trump allies denied the claims. I believe I read that. The White House blamed the canceled cemetery visit on poor weather. Responding to the Atlantic's reporting, Trump said the accusations was a disgraceful situation by a terrible magazine. Trump strongly denied calling fallen soldiers losers and suckers, speaking to reporters on September 3rd, 2020. He said it so many times and they still saying he's a liar. But yet, you're taking the information from somebody that's supposedly unnamed that told another soldier that's unnamed. Okay? Let's go. Upon returning from a campaign rally to Washington, D.C., just after the report came out, Trump said, I would be willing to swear on anything that I never said that about our fallen heroes. There is nobody that respects them more. No animal, nobody. What animal would say such a thing? Just days later, Zach Fuentes, a former White House aide who left the administration in early 2019 and was with the president on the Paris trip and presumably near him during the in-question conversations about the cemetery visit, stood up for Trump in an interview with Breitbart. Now, this is the spin on it. Pay attention. Referring to General John Kelly, who was with Trump during the trip, and his chief of staff, he said, I did not hear POTUS call anyone losers when I told him about the weather. Honestly, do you think General Kelly would have stood by and let anyone call fallen Marines losers? Reporting on Fuentes' interview with Breitbart, the Washington Post noted that the phrase, I did not hear, it's not the same as it didn't happen. You see where they fucking spun it around? So they're believing people that didn't drop a fucking name, so they're going to keep spreading it. But then you got somebody that says, I was there, that didn't happen, but right away they're trying to spin it around and say, in other words, you're a liar too. You see? This is how smear campaigns happen. This is on the left that's doing this. They can't just take a man's word for it, but they want you to believe what is said from people on the left. That's all golden. You can't question it. Okay. Trump's former National Security Advisor John Bolton, and everybody knows that Bolton and Trump do not get along. Bolton is a damn snake. Okay, this was last year, published last year. Trump's former National Security Advisor John Bolton, who said he was on the trip, also issued a denial to Fox News. Even he denies that Trump says something like that. Okay? Even he does. Days later, the article came out saying it was simply false. Then U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, another one that doesn't get along with Trump, okay, also denied the claims in an interview with Fox News in September of 2020. He said, I was with him for a good part of that trip. If I'm thinking about this visit and the timing right, and I never heard him use the words that are described in that article, just I never saw it. How the claims resurfaced? Because Biden and company, everybody now is trying to bring it up. On October 2nd, 2023, Biden's official account on X resurfaced the accusation, saying Trump once allegedly referred to American service members as suckers and losers. The post displayed above, including video footage of Biden speaking at a September 2023 event to honor the late U.S. Senator John McCain, who is a military veteran and prisoner of war. In that speech, Biden referred to the 2020 story by The Atlantic. So they're taking a story that has not been 100% verified by The Atlantic that says that one person that is unnamed said it to another soldier, and then that one came, or another soldier or whatever the hell it was, okay, and spread it to somebody else, and here we are. Okay? So it's like so much for the left calling out people putting out disinformation, and yet they're putting out the fucking disinformation. They won't even freaking fact check themselves, and when somebody else comes out and fact checks it, okay, they still put a damn spin on it. All right? Now, for sake of time, so I don't have to edit, this video came out. Sean Ryan, okay, 4 days ago, had an hour 11-minute interview with Donald Trump. I put the link in the description so you guys can watch it. The very first question out this man's mouth is about this accusation, and I want all of you to hear this, okay? So Donald Trump could explain to you exactly what I'm saying of how the left, they start with a nasty story and it goes on and on and on. Check this out.
Of the most concerning topics when it comes to the combat veteran population.
Good, good.
And so I'd like to start with some rhetoric.
And I'm not knocking Sean Ryan. I love his shows. I subscribe to his channel. He puts out the best content that, I mean, it's hard to explain because he's so diverse. So if nobody knows him, believe me, check out his content. I mean, he talks about everything from, I mean, and he's dealing with people that are bringing him facts. Okay, especially when he brings on military personnel. I'm telling you, they put out some information that it'll blow your mind. But just wanted to throw that in. Let's continue. Okay, and I'm gonna stop it right there. Like I said, I'm gonna leave a link in the description so you guys can go and watch it at your leisure, and you're gonna see way more. Now, you heard what he said. He's stayed consistent with his story. He actually explained it now in 2024 way better than is being pushed out, okay, in detail. He said there was a massive rainstorm. They wanted to take a helicopter. He didn't want to fly in it, obviously. No, they came out and said he didn't want to go out there to mess up his hair. Okay? So it's like that right there in itself is like, wait a minute. If anybody's watched a lot of Donald Trump stuff, he does talk about his hair. But when he's out there in the rain, he has an umbrella. That wouldn't have stopped him. You see what I'm saying? So they just go and they just, and then they didn't say that he went out there the next day. They didn't say that. They haven't said that. You're hearing it for the first time from the horse's mouth. Nobody talks about that. They didn't say that, no, he didn't go that day because it was a bad rainstorm, but he went the next day. They didn't say that. But yet, he goes to Arlington a few days ago to lay the wreath, okay, which he, by the way, he was with family members and the mother of one of the soldiers, the 13 soldiers that got killed in Afghanistan, okay? Where the fuck was Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? Oh, that's right. Joe Biden, instead of going to Arlington, went to the beach again, and Kamala, who knows? Who knows? But you see what's going on? And again, I want to thank my subscriber that brought the attention to me about Tulsi Gabbard, because it made me go down this rabbit hole to figure things out. So thank you so much, you know, and like I said, I'm still going to look up the other information to the questions that you left, because I think that we all should know, okay? So, you've heard it from Trump, how he stays consistent. You heard from Tulsi Gabbard how she stays consistent. You see that they both say how the left, they say these lies and they go on with it, and people keep regurgitating and pushing it out, repeating it, okay? The left always got something to say, right? But for sake of time, I'm not going to edit this. I'm just going to break it down. Let's see what Joe Biden had to say that the left won't fucking talk about. And they keep repeating the shit about that Trump's a racist and he's this and he's that, he hates everybody. But yet, with no proof, they want everybody to believe it's true. With no audio, no video, nothing. But here we got video of Joe Biden referring to little black kids as roaches, and nobody wants to fucking touch it. Check this out.
I saw that made me aware when I was in law school. Proudly for Holloway. Proudly for your dad. First African-American state senator in the state of Delaware. Everything about. And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
You heard it yourself. Where the hell did he come out? I learned about roaches. How did he go from kids rubbing his legs to I learned about roaches? And yet, the mainstream media, people on the left are like, oh no, it was just a gap. He didn't know what he was saying. So you're telling me when he made this comment, there's something in his head was not computing, which would mean that what? That he was mentally unfit at the time because he said something that was, in my opinion, fucking horrible. But yet you still went with the narrative saying that no, he's good, he's capable. Trump's the one that's deranged. Trump's the one that's the racist. I didn't hear Trump referring to little black kids as roaches. Whether it was a joke, whether it was a gaffe, anything like that. But we sure as shit just heard Joe Biden say it. And what do we get? Crickets. Here's the proof. But yet you're still going to have people deny this and poison other people's minds and spread all the hate and the division, all the lies. I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay? It's all bullshit. All these stories that are coming out, that are flying around. Listen, in this day and age of technology, I mean, we're not living in a world where, I'm not saying don't trust what people say, because if there's a horrible crime to happen, you need somebody to say something and all that. But when it comes to this shit, okay, the way the left just uses words and changes stories and makes up stories, no. You're going to have to start showing proof. Audio and video. Because it's funny how the right can always come up with the receipts, the left can't, but they have more people on their side that believe it and hate people on the right side more. It's an evil, wicked agenda coming from the left, man. These people in charge, they know how to eat up people's minds. Trust me. They do, and it's disgusting. It truly is. But anyway, that's what I got for you. So don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. And leaving the 2 links for Loza Alexander, my friend Josie. Also, I'm leaving the links to some of the video that I showed you, so you guys can go watch it, especially the one with Sean Ryan in its entirety. I mean, it's the longest interview I've seen Trump giving somebody. I mean, you know, it's pretty wild. As a matter of fact, it's the biggest. He got the most views out of all the videos he's done. I believe within 2 days, 3 days, he's got nearly 3 million views on it. Okay, now it's more than that. It's way more than that. But so go check it out. You know, and to any of you leftists out there that keep leaving me messages, listen, I'm not here to argue with you. If you got something with substance to it, we'll talk about it. But don't come with the bullshit. Open up your eyes, okay? And if you still want to ignore it, okay, then you know what? You're the one that's got to eat that shit in the long run, not us, okay? Our eyes are open. We're not going to get fat on ignorance, okay, like you people are. Plain and simple. So remember, people, stay vigilant. Keep praying for each other, keep praying for the women and the children, keep praying for this country, pray for your enemies, pray for Donald Trump, and don't forget to go out there and vote. Peace.